Welcome to another episode of Building a Leadership Mindset podcast. I'm your host, Nikki C., all the way from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, bringing you another amazing, fabulous powerhouse guest today. And we're going to be talking about everything and anything that's on the table for women empowerment, for entrepreneurship, leadership mindset. And I'm super excited to have this special guest today because it's been some time we've been trying to get her on here. But first, let's give a huge shout out to our amazing sponsors, Jose Escobar with the Connected Leaders Academy. We have Patrick Rude with the Dirty Little Secret Society, as well as Julie and Noah with Breathe Capital Planning. If you want to know anything about what we have going on here at Balm Global, you definitely want to check out buildingaleadershipmindset.com, where we have updated all our dates for the rest of 2024, including some in-person pop-ups in New Jersey, as well as our 1 year, our 2 year anniversary of Ladies of Leadership happening in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia on November 16th, and you don't want to miss it. We'll have more information on that on upcoming episodes, but tonight it's all about this queen that I was able to meet in Florida at the Mike Story, hosted by Jesse and Desiree Cruz, and she just captured my heart the minute I heard her speak. So she is none other than Dr. Carolyn. She is a highly accomplished serial entrepreneur who has turned her passions into a $1 million business empire. With over 20 years of experience as a business owner, Dr. Carolyn has established a successful training company for teachers, a fashion boutique, and inspired and coached countless individuals to turn their passions into millions. This is the reason she calls herself her community Passionpreneurs. Dr. Carolyn has also hosted numerous conferences and seminars, delivering powerful keynote speeches that motivate execution and action among her audience. Her passion for empowering others to achieve success is contagious. And she is as well. And her dedication to helping others achieve their goals has made her a highly respected and sought after speaker in her field. Without further ado, let me get this beauty on here. Carolyn, how are you, love?
I am fabulous. Super excited to be here.
I am so happy to have you here. Just meeting you back let me see, a few short months ago in February, where we were at the Mike Story together. You were actually a judge. I was actually supposed to see you on stage the year before, but God didn't let that happen at that point, which is totally fine. He did bring us together, and we had just a fabulous time.
Yes, we did.
And it was so amazing meeting you, getting to know you, working with you just a couple months ago, June 1st, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So I just want to thank you for saying yes. I know you are traveling the world doing your thing. So I just want to say thank you first and foremost.
It is a pleasure to be able to serve you and the hundreds of thousands, millions of women that this podcast is going to reach. So it is a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. So tell us a little bit about Carolyn. Where did it all start from? What was your upbringing like? When did you just say I had enough and you started building this beautiful empire that you have?
So I always tell the story of the little blue dress. I wanted to wear a blue dress to school, and my mom didn't let me wear that blue dress. So when I went to school, I was acting up all day, right? I was causing all kind of troubles because I couldn't have my way at school. And that teacher put me in timeout. And one thing about it, I was born with a personality that stood out amongst everyone. And so that teacher yelled at me and it made me upset. And I said to her, when I grow up, I'm going to be a better teacher than you. And that kind of like stirred that desire inside of me to be an educator. So I used to line up my Barbie dolls, dress them up, and play school. In the summertime, I would get all the worksheets and everything, make my own projector screen, and I would do that with kids. So I knew deep down inside that I really wanted to be a teacher, an educator. And so along my journey, as I got older, my mom owned a child care center. And as I started to be around kids, I started to feel like if I become a teacher, that is beneath me. And so I wasn't really listening to the calling. I'm like, I'm going to go to school. I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be somebody. I am not going to be working with nobody's kids or anything like that. And so life came, and whenever God has a calling on your life, he brings you back to where you first start, what that passion that he puts into your heart. And so I ended up falling in love with education. My high school teacher kind of brought me there. So I had a love for fashion, a love for education, and then I was a dancer at the time as well. So everything that I did brought me back to teaching. So I love teaching dance. I love teaching about fashion. And so I ended up going to school to become a teacher. And as everyone know who has little ones, I had my girls really early and I couldn't afford childcare. So guess where I ended up? I ended up working part-time at a childcare center. And it was like, "Ugh, I have to do this. And the only reason why I'm doing this is because I get free childcare and I'm giving them their time so I can get my time." But little did I know that that was the setup for my blessing. I took a full-time position as a preschool teacher, making seven something an hour. So I had a college degree and I walked away from public school teaching to be a part of a 3-year-old classroom. And while I was in that classroom, I saw my life just come, just bloom in front of my eyes. And so whenever I started working with those 3-year-olds, I said to myself, who trained me to be this teacher? Because everyone would compliment me like, how do you know what to do? How did you come up with those activities? And I started training teachers from that point. My career grew from there, and I started to realize that my ecosystem for what I did was beyond that classroom. So it was no longer about just serving the 20, 30 kids that were in my classroom. I said, you know what? I can reach 100, 1,000 kids if I can just get 10 teachers. And so I started doing teacher workshops. I built my list from 0 teachers to over 20,000 teachers that we serve in our community right now, probably even more who haven't even subscribed, but just tap in to watch. We've had conferences with thousands of teachers that have enrolled, and we do this semi-annually, and workshops. And all I did was say, how can I be better at the gift that God has given me? And when I settled in on that, I began to train other teachers, train admins. Now we train for Head Start. We are the keynote at several early childhood conferences. And then I rolled back and I stepped away from owning my schools. And God was like, it's time for you to teach people what you do. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm on the road. I got my school. I'm always on stage. I'm traveling. The money's coming in. I am good. Like, what do you mean walk away from this? And he was like, no, I want you to do more. I want you to take it beyond that teacher community. I showed you how to build that, but there's entrepreneurs that are out there like you who feel like they're stuck in their 9-to-5 job, who feel like they're stuck in their careers because they can't see the bigger picture. And you saw the bigger picture. It's time for you to teach. And I'm like, here you go again, talking about being a teacher. And so that is when I stepped out and started training other passionate entrepreneurs that you can take the simple thing that you're doing that you think won't make you money and see it on a bigger scale and start working towards that. We all have passions, but it's the purpose part that looks different. So my passion is teaching, but the purpose, which is my alignment, is not just teaching preschool kids or elementary kids. It's teaching teachers. It's teaching business owners. It's teaching other speakers, is teaching writers how to build and thrive as a business. And not only did I do that in the early childhood field, but I managed to do that for my boutique that I opened up, Style It Up Boutique. And people are like, well, how do you do so many things? Because whatever I'm passionate about, I plan it out, map it out, and I see the bigger picture on how I can thrive with it. and I put it into action. So today we now own Training to Succeed for teachers, early childhood education, and we own Training to Succeed for Passionpreneurs, and we have Style It Up Boutique as well. And we're the former owners of Adventures in Learning Academy and Adventures in Learning Curriculum as well. So that's a little bit about my business
A
journey.
little bit, honey, that is a lot of it. And I just love every point that you made, that you had a passion. You told your teacher that you were going to be a better teacher. So you already manifested that. You put it into the universe. God said, I heard you, and I'm going to put you through it, whatever that looked like. And I always wanted to be a teacher as well at a young age, but I didn't know I was going to be teaching in this capacity and in coaching, right? It's
Yes.
always that way. And I did actually a research when I wrote my book, Building a Leadership Mindset, how, when we're asked, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And people throw doctors, teachers, but then it also had what they actually became.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. I have to find the article. I'll share it with you. But this is exactly what you're supposed to be doing. So it
Yes.
was already written in the stars. So I'll definitely show you that. But wow, what a powerful story. Using your experience and what life, the cards life gave you, right? With, having your girls at a young age, being able to be put in that position to say, hey, you know what, I'll take a part-time, let me cover all of it. But your passion never died. It
No.
always got bigger. How do you think, what type of mindset do you have to have for that?
Wow. You have a mindset that anything is possible. Nothing drives me more than rejection and being told that I cannot do something. And that pushes me to practice and go harder. The only reason why I really, really push to be the best in what I do, to serve the best and stand out, is because I was told, oh no, you're too young. Oh no, you don't have enough education. Oh no, you're not old. All these things. And I'm like, no, I'm going to be the best. And it's a mindset that, some people fight or they flight, right? And I have that trigger in me that I'm not going to run from anything. I'm going to stand here and fight until I become, victorious. And that victory can look different in different ways, and not actually maybe like overcoming the big thing, but actually just being able to stand there and stand up against what's being thrown at you. So I think it's a mindset of like, I'm up for the challenge. Like, I don't care what it is. I'm going to try my best to do it the best that I can.
I love that. And was it always like that? Did you have to learn that? Like, what was the turning point to shift that mindset, right? Because mindset we build as we grow, as we're experiencing life and things like that. And we have to, sometimes we're upset about certain things, and now we're not, because we've shifted our mindset to see
Right.
what caused it. And we did the inner work, right? But
Inner work. Yeah.
when was it when it kind of switched for you?
I think it constantly switches for me. So I don't think it was a turning point. My mom tells me I came out of the womb that way, but I think I've had pivotal times that my mindset had to switch to go along with the journey that I was on. So sometimes we have these preset notions in our mind of how things are supposed to be, and that's where our mindset starts to get crazy and warped, and it causes for a shift. And so in my mind, I was like, oh no, I'm not going to settle for this. But then that passion starts to set in. And I'm like, okay, if I am going to settle for this, how can I make this work to be what I really want to be, or do whatever I really want to do? And I think we go down that journey, and then when we get to a wall and we get comfortable, it's like, okay, it's time to shift again. And so what you have to constantly tell yourself is that I'm open and available for all opportunities. And so that is something that I go with. So when the opportunity presents itself, I'm not so closed-minded and rejecting it, because I have this predetermined way of thinking my life should be. And I just go, okay, let me process that. Let me receive that. Because when I was in the airport and it was like, sell your school, who you talking to? Like, what? Like, we're not going to do that. That's not going to happen. But then I had to pivot and say, okay, why am I being told that? What is the bigger picture? And then I had to mentally prepare myself that it wasn't going to be easy. So I think every so often we get presented with different obstacles and opportunities, and that mindset has to shift. But you have to tell yourself that I'm open and available, and when the time comes, I'll be ready. I'm ready for that shift. And so I know another one is going to come. Then another one is going to come. So I'm just setting myself up to be like, okay, I know it's coming. I can't leave things the same. And I just prepare my heart and my mind for it.
Beautiful. What an affirmation to live by, to really um to really help you make those decisions and see if they're aligned with the bigger picture, if they're
Mhm.
aligned with the mission. And I'm just going to go back to something you said about the fuel, right? About the rejections, about the no's that we probably received along the way. I love that you said that, because I always tell my ladies, if the no's are there, it's not, it's maybe a no right now, but not forever, right?
Mhm.
Like when someone tells you you can't, that should spark that light under your tush, and you should even take action even
Yes.
faster, right?
Yes.
Like and it's not to prove anybody wrong, and it's just to see what you're capable of. When I came into this space, I didn't know what to offer. I didn't know what I was
Right?
going to do. I knew I just worked in healthcare for 14 years. I was invited to my first speaker competition. God drove me to see that Facebook Live from my publisher, and I said, you know what? Here's my money. Let me in the room. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to make something happen.
Right.
And that was my fuel, because that I always knew I wanted to be a speaker as a corporate trainer. Um, and now look at us 3 years later, and it's like it was the fuel. It was those that said, oh, you can, or I don't see what you're gonna do in 5 years from now. However long it took, just get started.
Yes.
So I love that you hold that, and that resonates with you. And I'm sure um people will ask, well, how can I do that? If what are some of the things people have to really work on first before they can have that confidence to make those decisions?
Well, I think finding out what your passion and gifts are is like the first step. Because if you're confused about what you should do and who you are and what you were born to do, people will pull you every which way. And every time you see the next thing, you're like hopping on that. Oh, I need some of that. Or I need some of that. But when you have clarity as to what your purpose is or who you are as an individual, I should say what your passion is, when you hear different things, okay, that aligns to what my purpose is and what I want to do. So if you don't have that clarity, you will be like a ping pong ball and you can't make clear, concise decisions because you don't know who you are or what you are called to do. So I would say that is like the first step in any business or life decision. It's like, who am I? Does this align to my purpose? And overall, is it going to take me to where I need to be? And sometimes like I said, we have that preconceived notion about how this is supposed to go. And we have to go all the way around the back way to get there. But sometimes we don't want to hit that back road. But that back road could be your protection. That back road could be you're picking up people and things that you wouldn't have picked up on
Mm.
that. The perfect example is whenever the speak off happened, Grant Cardone speak off, that's how me and Jess met. And I wasn't gonna do it. I'm like, what? A competition. I don't compete. Like I already have my stage that I want to be on. But if I had not gone that road, I wouldn't have gotten clarity in my purpose. I would not have met the people that I needed to meet in order for me to get here. And of course, I didn't make it. I didn't win it. I wasn't rejected. I didn't win, but it also fueled me to say, you know what? I don't have to be the winner to be able to go out and make a living out of what I do. I already created a stage for myself. I already created. So, what is going to be the difference than redoing it in this particular area? So, sometimes it doesn't make sense, but it aligns. So I knew I wanted to speak. I knew I wanted to be on more stages, bigger platforms. And it's like a speaker competition, really? Why would you do that? That's just setting yourself up to be rejected. But if I hadn't done it, I would not have met Jess. then I wouldn't have met Des, and I would not have met you. And who knows what I would have missed or opportunities I would have missed if I had not said, okay, I'm going to do this, or okay, I'm going to invest in myself, or okay, I'm going to invest in this.
Yes, that is a perfect example of what happens when you step outside the box, your comfortable zone, and you jump on faith. And you said, you know what, I don't know what this is going to bring to my life,
Mm-hmm.
but it's presented itself and I'm going to do it. And I found that when people do that,
Yeah.
they find out that they are more capable of things that they never knew they could.
Yeah. Yeah. And it pulls something out of you, because it's like, wow, I've learned this much. I have self-reflection, and then that feedback that you get, you carry with you, and you're like, okay, I need to be more aware of that. This is how I can bring more presence to the stage. This is how I can work with more people and meet more people that I've never met. So it's so many things along this journey, and you've been in it for 3 years, and it's been a little over almost 3 years that we started this journey in this arena. And so the other one, like I said, over 20 years ago doing it. So it's new faith has to come along with it,
Mm.
because sometimes you want to revert back to what you're comfortable with. And most people are comfortable with, like you said, the nursing field, getting your paycheck. You're comfortable with that. Every 2 weeks or every month that direct deposit is going to hit. You're comfortable with that. And for you to shake that up and say, oh, I'm going to go over here and try this, sometimes that is like drastic and
Scary.
and people be like, are you crazy? Are you having a midlife crisis? Like, what is wrong with you? And so that is, but we have to stick to what we know and what's burning inside of our heart. And trust me, it never fails me. It may not be easy at first. People give up before they get to it. So it's not
Mhm.
that the path is not designed to get you where you need to be. You just don't have resilience to be able to stick to it in order to get to the end. And trust you me, if you just stick to it, good, bad, and ugly, you will get there.
Absolutely. And that's what I've been witnessing for the past couple years, getting into this arena, right? This space of entrepreneurship, of networking, of really building empires, building dynasties,
Yes.
building legacy, right? Because that's what we're here for. We have to get back. We have a purpose. Our voices
Mhm.
matters, our stories matter. So let's just go. So you meet Jess at this time at your first speaker competition that you felt like, what the heck was I doing here? But you did it anyway, right? You connect with Jess, then where does it go from there?
Okay, so I met Dress. He came over to my table, and I wrote his name down in my notebook. And then I think we reconnected on Facebook, and he set up a call with me, and he invited me to his speaker competition. And so I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, a speaker competition. I was like, I was just in the top 20 at Grant Cardone. I mean, I think I did really good, past the thousands. I don't know if we're up to competing again. And my mom was like, let's just do it. Let's just see, who you meet, how it goes. And then we did that competition. And so from that point, Jess has been, like a brother in my life. I've been able to judge his competition. I've met some amazing people that was in that room. But from that competition, it actually gave me the platform that brought in so many new clients, not that I didn't even think of, because one of the other judges that was at the Grant Cardone competition, one of the speaker coaches, actually was like, oh my God, you remind me of this person. I was like, oh, I've never heard of that person. And she has over 1 million followers in the pre-K community. And he's like, I have to introduce you guys. Me and her meet. Her podcast takes off as well from some segments that I did. I spoke at her conference, and then before I knew it, I was booked creating my own stage. But then I became booked on other people's stage for the whole like people have started booking for 2025. And so I'm like, oh my God, how did that happen? And then on top of that, from Jess's event, And the people that I've met from him, and everybody from the speaker competition, I've been invited to speak on their platforms as well. So it was like I invested in myself, I showed up there, I continue to invest in myself, and the room just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And every time I look up, I'm meeting somebody that I would not have known if I had not invested in myself and got into that room.
Absolutely. So what I'm hearing is that if we keep ourselves in the bubble of our own, space where we're hearing that inner hater talking us out of things, we need to tell her to shut up. Right? First and foremost, tell her she does not belong here, or he, right? Whoever's listening. But it's really just do it. Just take that action. You just never know what's going to come. There has not been a room that I have been in, whether it was a great event, whether it was a not so great event, I always got something. You're always going to
Oh,
get
yes.
that aha moment. If
Yes.
you have 10 speakers, you get one speaker to just change your mind about something. Like magic happens there.
Yeah.
And that's what it was for me. So I didn't go in 2023, 2022. Was it
2022.
22? No, in 2023, I didn't go to the competition, which I was supposed to go to the first Mike story. Then I went in 2023, which was this year. This year I met you. This year, 20, I get all
The
my dates
years are
mixed up.
just like binding
Yes,
together.
it's
I'm
so
like, wait a minute,
fast.
wasn't that last year that the speaker? And I'm like, that was February. I was like, wasn't that like October of last year? No, but it really was February. Oh wow.
It was
Okay.
February.
Okay.
Yeah, I totally remember it like it was yesterday. And you know, me and Desiree had just been talking about collaborating and doing this Warrior Women Bomb Global and bringing them together, two communities, to really share heart center leadership. And as we're like designing what we have, I heard you speak. I seen you at that place. So when we were talking about picking an MC, I already knew. Like that was already in my mind. And I told her your name. She's like, oh my God, yes. And you said yes. And
Yes.
before we get into some questions about that, I'm going to just play the quick video so that our audience can see. Give us 1 second. It's coming right up. This is the Warrior Women Bomb Global Conference that just passed June 1st, where this beautiful soul here was the MC, and she bring this mission all the way home.
She is a warrior, ain't nothing gonna slow her down. She is a warrior, yeah. She is a warrior, ain't nothing gonna slow her down. She is a warrior, she's taking this battleground. She is a fighter, a crier, she ain't gonna lose this round. She is a warrior, yeah. She sees a way, it ain't paid. Rubies of gold. She's gonna train her mind, gotta keep her in line, keep her eyes on the Lord. She's ready to battle, gonna take that enemy down. She fears no evil, holding her ground. She is a warrior, ain't nothing gonna slow her down. She is a warrior, she's taking this battleground. She is a fighter, a crier, she ain't gonna lose this round. She is a warrior.
Started getting all emotional all over again.
I know. I could watch this over and over, and I still get the same butterflies. Oh
Yeah.
my God. It's just powerful how a 1 minute and 29-second video can take you back to a place of, I did this. because I stepped out the box, I was able to see 70 plus women in community smiling, collaborating, building new relationships, and the power that was in that room. And I'm going to give you some time right now. Just tell us, and I know we talked about it on our meeting, but tell our viewers what you see in this video and how you felt, one, being asked to be part of this mission, and what did you take away from this event?
Oh my God. Look, she wants me to like go. First of all, the first thing that I saw was two businesses coming together, and not just two businesses, two women coming together, putting whatever differences, whatever thoughts aside to love on each other and collaborate so that they can bless other women. And a lot of times we're not selfless enough to do that. One of us want more recognition, one of us want the money, one of us want the power. And I actually got to witness that there is power in women collaborating and coming together to create safe spaces for other women. So that was like the biggest thing that I just sat back and watched, because at first when I heard that you and Des didn't know each other that well or hadn't known that long, I'm like, oh, I want to watch this because this is going to really teach me something. Because sometimes we have that fear about collaborating because we're afraid that we're going to get hurt, or we're afraid that, you know, somebody is going to back out or leave us with. And I watched you guys, you use the tools that you have, her use the tools that she had, and y'all came together and made that thing happen. And not only happen, but explode. And so I remember when it was just a talk or it was being manifested. And so also I walked away with the power of when you speak something and you really believe it, that thing will grow and manifest. As much as you water it, it will grow. And I watch you guys water this event, and that is why the success just overpoured inside of that event. When I was asked to be the MC, I was like, okay, I was like, that's my jam, that's what I do. But then when I started to hear these women speak, and I said to myself, look, you've MC, you spoke, but you need to really focus on making this event about capturing each woman that goes up there, because their time limit is so short, and I have to leave a lasting memory in the person's head so that they will remember that speaker. So my whole goal was to just listen in and learn from these women and try to capture them in the best way possible. So when they left that stage, they didn't just give their all and walk away and I say, oh, and the next speaker is. I wanted each person in the room to take a piece of that story and just stamp it in their heart. So when they left with a whole flower bed full of flowers from different women who has gone through different things. And so when I heard about the event, I started to get on the calls and hear what these women had to say. It totally shifted my MC style just for this event. And I'm like, oh no, I have to make this special, because out in my mind, I'm like, okay, it's going to be fast. It's going to be slow. They're having these speakers. Oh my goodness. How can I really showcase them? And that flow just had to happen with them and be able to make them feel like they were special, whether they spoke for 15 minutes or 5 minutes. And so I felt like, oh my God, it's such an honor to, test out that style with you guys events, and find my flow as well with doing an event to that capacity with so many different speakers and having to remember their stories. So several times throughout the event, if you have pictures, you'll see me there looking at my iPad, like checking out notes, because I had made previous notes about them and I had spoke to them before they had spoken. And so I tried to take a little piece of their story and kind of tell it before they got there so that they wouldn't have to waste time on that part of their story. So my takeaway was a moment that I don't know what happened inside of that event, where one of the speakers started talking about gratitude. And I've overcome some things in my life. I've been through some things. And I'm grateful, yes, because like I feel like I'm a happy, joyous person. I feel like I share that. But at that moment, it just really struck me that I don't say thank you enough,
Mm.
that I'm not grateful enough for the positions that I'm in, the opportunities that I have. And we always see it for what we don't have, but we never see it for what we have. And so at that moment, I don't know. And it was not even um like a,
Birthday.
it just hit, and it was like, you need to do better. And it's like, how am I going to get in trouble? And I'm trying to introduce these women up here, and you want to come get on my back and start putting it on my heart that I need to be more grateful. I am grateful. And it was just something that just took over my heart and my soul. And it was like, you really need to live in a place of gratitude, because you could have been way worse off than you were, from relationships, things that people have done to you, trials and tribulations that you've been through, the loss after loss after loss that we really don't talk about. And it's like, in this moment, you need to stop and not worry about what you're going to say next and what you're going to do next, and just be thankful. Thankful that you're amongst these women, thankful that you were invited here, and thankful that you heard this message that is going to change the trajectory of your life. Now, every training that I have, I send a thank you gift to the person, just to say, you could have chose anyone in the world, but you chose me. And now me and my mom, we have like all these addresses, and we're like, okay, we got to get this out this week. We're like 3 months behind. We're like 4 months behind. We're trying to get these things out, because I'm like, we have to say thank you. Yes, they thank me with payment. Yes, they thank me with all these things, but they could have gone anywhere else. But they chose Carolyn to be here to talk to their people. Gratefulness is what I walked away with from that. And not, you guys see, I'm tearing up just even thinking about it.
Wow. I went back to that moment. As you're speaking, I see the power that was placed in you to continue that conversation. And I think it happened exactly the way it was supposed to, because everyone in that room needed to hear that message. And just going back, first off, I need to publicly thank you for taking that extra step as the MC and saying, you know what, I want to make this special. It was God really blessed myself and Desiree in this partnership. He gave us the strength. He gave us all the tools we needed um, to work together to be able to pull this off, um, and just be grateful that we were able to do it right in His
Yeah.
presence, His way. Um, so I want to thank you for acknowledging that you did see that within us. And again,
Yeah.
sometimes we don't trust because we have been burnt.
Mhm.
And, especially amongst women, which of course we are trying to change,
Yeah.
that vantage point for everyone is that you can do this.
Yeah, you
You
can.
can. And you shouldn't be doing it alone anyway.
Correct.
Um, so thank you again for, taking the time to take the notes, to really make this personalized to each and every speaker. I'm sure they appreciated it. I'm sure those in attendance appreciated it. The quick, the parts where we had to, you know, our keynote spots, right? We took it nice and slow. We wanted their messages to sink in. But you also did that for our VIP speakers that only had 5 minutes, and they were power-ups, right? They were
There are
get you
power-ups.
activated, but you still spent the time to acknowledge their story and reiterate to everyone the power of their message. So I want to publicly thank you, because a lot of MCs, they're just like, give me some cue cards, tell me what to say.
Yeah.
But you took this and you made it yours, and I appreciated it. I'm so happy that we get to have you for round 2 as well.
Thank you
I'm
guys so
excited.
much for having me back. Oh my God, it is such a pleasure to serve. Like, the mission is unbelievable. And I've seen shifts happen right before my eyes. Like, people just totally turn into different people. I think about, like, what comes to my mind, even with the keynotes, how Amanda solidified her brand and who she was as a speaker
Yes.
at that conference.
At that conference.
At
Yep,
that
absolutely.
conference.
I get chills just thinking about it, because I know she was working on it. And
We
and
were in the car with her, remember? And
yes,
she was talking about it. And then here it is. Like, well, February, and then we're
5 months
in
later.
June. And she's like, damn, this is who I am and who I represent. And I think I was just shook. My soul
Yeah.
was shook.
Yep. In a short period of time, she spoke on it in our platform, Ladies of Leadership, where I had the pleasure of having you speak in our platform and, wake up some ladies as well, because that's the point, right? You get connected and you share these opportunities because we don't know it all. We need these stories, these powers, these skills from everyone that's willing to share that.
Yeah.
So witnessing that before my eyes, but also still witnessing 2 months later, we're still seeing the
Hello.
the results of what happened in that room.
Yes. You guys did a thing. And that thing, I told Des, y'all got to get ready to get the stadiums together, because
Yeah.
when women get a hold to what's happening in this room, this conference, they are going to be like running to have a seat. And you guys think that you're like, oh, it's just one day. This is going to go from 1 day to 2 days to 3 days until y'all just shut down a whole city for a week and be like, hey, just come over here and get totally healed while you're here. So
Right.
like this thing is going to impact millions of women, and you guys have no idea. I just don't think that people, like, sometimes when you're just like creating it, you can't see it. You guys have no idea on how this is going to change, not just women's, but women who are in leadership. And that's not addressed very often. It's
Yeah.
fixing to transform how they think, how they feel, how they trust, how they love, how they engage, from a conference that two women who didn't even know each other 2 years ago, 3 years ago, came together and said, oh, we're going to do this thing. Man, that's power in itself. That story can change somebody's life like right now.
Yes. Yes. It definitely continues to change mine, because as me and Des are speaking and creating what the future looks like for us in our partnership, and all the women that we want, like the different messages we want to share with them. Thank you so much for seeing that from your mouth to God's ears. He will
Oh, yeah.
continue to deliver
Yes.
that. I do want to go back really quick to the gratitude part.
Okay.
So that was Sister Sonia. I want to acknowledge her and say she was that speaker for me. Everyone did an amazing job. Everyone had a powerful story, but it was just as simple as just gratitude, being thankful. But it wasn't just being thankful for what we have. It's being thankful for the crap that we went through, for the unplanned things that happen in our life, whether good or bad, the destructiveness that could have taken us out but didn't. That was so powerful. Like, I was literally in tears, and you just had me even more tears, because Sister Sonia, I don't even think she used up all her time, but she didn't
She
need
didn't.
to. She
She
did not
didn't.
need to. I don't even know. Did you know the time like that she took? Was it like 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes?
Okay, so if they have 5 minutes, I think she was like right at 4. I think she
Okay.
was right at 4, like right before 4 minutes. So more like 3 minutes 45 seconds, maybe. Because it was so quick. I had to look at the clock, because I thought maybe she had went over, because it felt like she was talking for a minute, but she wasn't.
Not at all. Not at all. And I know she moved everyone in that room. Some people just felt convicted about not being grateful. But you had that delivery right after, and God, you're just so good for planning whatever he planned. And that wasn't scripted. That was just pure him moving in the room with the messages that were coming out, and specifically Sister Sonia's at that time. So you just took it to the next level. You kept us on time. Like, we ended at the time at 6 o'clock on the dot with that video where we were walking out dancing. That was amazing to me, because our schedule was pretty tight.
It was tight. It was
but it
tight.
was perfect as
Yeah.
far as the pace within the time, and you managed that so well, even with, with even that segment that took, I think it was like another 3 or 4 minutes for us to that for that message to really sink in.
Yeah.
And I couldn't have asked for any other person to really run this mission and
Oh,
take
I can see
our
that.
vision to the next level. All great messages. Again, it takes a team. It
Yeah.
really takes a team to get an event like this, of this caliber, with this type of message, with women, making sure, everything's good: sound, music, food, all that good stuff. Um, and it was amazing. It was so amazing when women tell you, hey, I don't want to go. Like, I
No,
want to stay
they
here.
wanted more. Yeah.
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 Yeah. And then the breakout sessions were amazing. That was a great transition. But thank you. Thank you so much. And
No,
I'm
thank you
so
guys.
happy
Oh
that
my
I am
God.
in community with you, that we are sisters for life. We're attached
Yes.
at the hip. You can't get rid of me, okay?
And you can't get rid of me. I love you guys are a staple part of my family. Just being able to meet someone and just the warmth of yourself as well as Des. I mean, I really didn't even know you like that, but it was like we've been knowing each other for years. I just came in like, and
Yeah.
it just went. And that's how you're in the right room, in the right place. Your heart just settles and you're okay and you can be who you are. And I feel like you guys create a community where people can show up who they are and be it, and just be that and then grow from that. And that's what I love about both of you guys. And you are doing some amazing things with women of leadership, and I just think that there's just not enough out there for them, and you are definitely serving up some good old
Good old love and
wholehearted tools and
empowerment.
tips for leadership, right?
Thank you so much. I also want to acknowledge your mom. Thank you so much for sharing her with us. She is an absolute joy to listen to. It was great to hear her in the VIP section when we were having that circle, and we were speaking, and then just her feedback on how she received all the messages and just empowering us. She was just cheering us on.
Yeah,
So I just want
my
to thank
biggest
your
cheerleader.
mom.
Yes, and my mom is very shy and she doesn't speak in front of people.
Really?
She
I
does
didn't get that impression.
because it was the room. That I think I was in shock as well because she's my mom. Like I've never really, but anytime she gets in that environment, like when she was at Jess's thing, she was like speaking and meeting people. And she was like, "Oh, I spoke. I introduced myself." But
Mhm.
then when she got in your room and we were in that VIP circle, I was like, "Who is this? Who is this lady?" Nothing what I grow up with. And so that picture that you guys have of her sitting there and she's in power and she's speaking, I have that picture saved because I'm
Mhm.
like, I know who my mom was before, and that room powered her up to be able to share who she is and to cheer all of you guys on. And she think all y'all her kids. I'm like,
Oh,
yeah. So,
yeah, you gotta share her.
thank you for having her. She goes everywhere, just about everywhere. She travels, sets up my trainings, break me down. A lot of times give me the opportunity to meet one-on-one with people while she's, packing up boxes and taking care of it. And she's there just constantly just like, okay, I got you. I got you. I'm gonna be there to support you. You don't have to worry about, this person or over here because one person for sure that's gonna always be behind you and take care of your stuff, it's going to be me. So I'm so grateful to be blessed with my executive assistant, which is my mom, and she takes good care of the things and not just of me, but of people that we serve as well.
I love that. I love that relationship with you and your mom. Me and my mom are like the bestest of friends. And she's my number one cheerleader. She is our, um, actually, the ladies call her Mama Bomb because she made this great
Oh,
bomb video with our Lady Boss Bomb lip balms. And since then, she was dubbed Mama Bomb. So I know the feeling when you have your mom in your corner. It's just such a blessing, that we get to share that as well.
yes.
And it's a beautiful thing. And
It
yes,
is.
I will be your mama's child too. Okay.
That is not your child. She knows everybody who was at the conference, everything that they're doing. She's like, did you see this? Did you see Christopher? Did you see? And I'm like, no,
I
I
love it.
didn't.
I love it. I love that you can share that with her. Not a lot of us get to do that. So, moms now, especially early entrepreneurs, get your children involved.
Yeah,
Be their supporters, right?
yeah.
Let them be who they want to be, and we really have to start early. So this mission is not just for adults. We were very specific in having teenagers in the room. How did you feel about that?
Well, my daughters are 19 and 21. Both of them are business owners. My youngest daughter is an esthetician and she has an esthetician beauty business. And my oldest daughter, even though she's in college getting her teaching degree, she is a chef. So she does customized meals and cooking. And I push her to do that. So when I saw those teenagers in the room, I felt like this is what it means to build women leadership. You have to raise up a child in the way that they should go. And if these girls are not trained at the early age, or be able to see that you don't have to go through what this person went through because you have all the tools that will prevent you from having to bump your head and fall. And I wish that my girls could hear that from other women and not just hear it from mama, because it
Mhm.
sounds totally different coming from me telling them, oh, you need to do this. They're like, oh, you're just saying that because you don't want me to have to go through this. But if they would have heard Tiffany Harris's story and what she went through, if they heard, how women overcame and became sober and had to go, like, you don't hear those stories. And so when they pick up a drink and think that they're casually drinking and having fun, that can become an addiction that can be hard to overcome. So you guys having those girls in the room means that you guys are going deeper than just the top level. You're going deep into generations and generations, and you're pulling them forward so that they can assume their role and not have to assume it because they were hurt and went through something. I
Wow.
love it.
Thank
I absolutely. And we are working hard to make sure that my girls get their butt there next year because they need to see it and hear it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I can't wait to meet them. So tell us, how can people get a hold of you? What is it specifically that you do? How do you serve your community? And how can they get a hold of you?
So I am Carolyn Bob Green on Facebook, and I'm at Carolyn Lynette, CarolynNettete on Instagram. And if you look up Passionpreneur Community, or if you go to my Facebook page, you will see the link everywhere. And what I do is I teach people how to make money on replay, build systems, put them in place, create digital products, because as you're transitioning from that 9 to 5 job, you need to start building your ecosystems with courses, digital products, building your list so that you have people to actually sell to. So in our community, it's all things getting yourself together, organizing productivity, and getting your business and systems in place so that you're constantly making cash on replay as you're transitioning into a full-time entrepreneurial role.
I love it. And can you tell us, how did Passionpreneur come about?
So at first I used to say, oh, I'm a creativepreneur. It was like this word that I used to always say. And so Passionpreneur came about because I said I wanted a passion-based business that I really care about. And I was searching one day and I was like, I'm an entrepreneur, but I'm passionate. Why don't I put that together? And didn't realize that was actually a word that already existed and thought I had
Oh,
discovered passionpreneur. So it came about because entrepreneur means that you're doing things based on making cash like a business, which most businesses are. So entre in front of preneur means that you are cash flow based, that you're doing this because you want to make money, or you want to build an empire. But when you're a passionpreneur, you're building things based on the gifts and talents that is rooted and embedded in your heart, and you just love and grow from. I hear people saying, if you love it, if you love it, it probably won't make you money. And I'm here to prove that that's not true. I love teaching, and it takes care of me so that my mom can be a part of the business. I pay for my girls' college, their schooling, and their careers, and help them build their business. So no one can tell me that if you're passionate about something, that you can't make money from it. I don't care if you like brushing hair. I don't care if you like painting lips. We are going to find a way in our passionpreneur money in our passionpreneur community to show you how to flip that into a profit.
I love that. And most that I love about it is that you thought that you created it, but you found out that someone had done it already, but you still used it and put your own spin on it. That is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So many times we have these ideas, we think it's great. We then we go do the market research afterwards and we find out that it already exists, and then we give up and we don't do anything. What are your thoughts on that?
When you go to the grocery store, you see a whole bunch of different types of bread. It did not stop them from making bread. And they coming out with new breads every single day. Last time I checked, there's like 100 different types of brushes. Just because brushes were invented and on the market doesn't mean that someone doesn't have a brush for their client. What I believe is that when you create something, your people are there waiting for you, and they will come to you. That other organization that may use that name Passionpreneur, they have an ideal audience that will flock to them. But my people will not get what they need if I don't step out and do that thing, because what I'm doing and I'm saying is just a little bit different from what they're doing. Just like bread. I mean, Nature's Wonder bread, what, like all these different types of breads, we all have our preference, and I'm sure we all don't eat the same type of bread. And so when they made it for an audience, and that audience was me or for you, and it didn't stop them from doing it. So why should we stop doing what we're doing just because we see somebody doing something similar? And it's called, paralyzation. We allow that to paralyze us because we're already fearful for starting. So when you have fear in your heart, the smallest thing can throw you off. And knowing that as an entrepreneur, that should be your affirmation, is that as I'm going this journey, no matter what I see, what I hear, or see other people doing, I'm going to stay the trajectory of this project. And so you have to speak that when you start, because trust me, you're going to run into some stuff and you're going to be like, I don't want to be a copycat. Everybody's a copycat. Nobody's
Everybody,
original.
yes. And I'm all about duplicate and repeat. I am all about that, but you splash you in it, right?
Yes.
So when I said, when I decided to open the community of Ladies of Leadership, obviously I was already in like 6 or 7 communities, all run by men. I hadn't been in one that was ran by a woman. And I said, I could do this. And then I started seeing women pop up. And the perfect example of how great this community is, and some of our speakers, is that when I launched Ladies of Leadership, Tiffany was in the process of launching When Women Empower, but she still said yes and enrolled into my community. And as soon as she launched hers, I said yes and enrolled into her community. And we have been supporting each other through this journey. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
don't, for all the listeners right now, don't give up on your dream because someone else is doing it. Do it your way.
Yes.
Do it your way. You are only you, and no one can duplicate you. They can duplicate our ideas, right? And that's okay.
But they can't put your sauce on it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Special sauce that nobody can mix up. And I call it just the power of manifestation. So whenever I was in Mary Kay, and I was going towards to earn the pink Cadillac, I had one of their other free cars. And when I said that I wanted to earn a pink Cadillac, I saw pink Cadillacs everywhere, like here, there, everywhere. And that's to say, when your mind opens up to you doing that leadership, that's why you started seeing. And that should be a confirmation, not a reject button for you to eject yourself from the situation. You see it as a confirmation. I'm seeing all these people doing it, and that's my sign that I should do it too.
Absolutely. Press play. Just do it. Figure it out along the way.
Yes.
Let's see what happens. And another thing I want to point out is that if you don't press play and you don't go for it, you'll just never know. And the worst thing you can do is live life regretting with the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. I would rather start something like, perfect example. I thought I wanted to be a pharmacist because my job that I was working at had a course for it. and there was an opening for the pharmacy department, which was a great hire, right? More money. So I took this whole course for 3 months, passed it with flying colors, but didn't sit down for the licensing because I just couldn't see myself doing it.
Yeah.
And that was okay. And I just kept on, became a realtor. I don't like time constrictions when it comes to people's homes, right? I found out very quickly that I don't like the paperwork. So I am more of a connector. I downgraded to a referral agent. But
Yeah.
that didn't stop me from continuing to try something new. And
Correct.
as you're trying something, you have to have data to
Mhm.
make sure if it worked or not. Because if you quit on it and you can't tell a story on why, they're just really excuses.
Right.
Right. So this has been absolutely phenomenal. I
I
absolutely
love it.
love you. I love
I love you too. Like,
this. Yes, 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 yes. I can't wait to see you. What I just want you to kind of just share your final thoughts with the audience, to just, for someone that is really battling right now with moving forward, they're stuck, they're making a decision, or they're trying to make a decision, but they just can't figure it out. What do you want to leave them with?
whew. I would go back to what you said and just say, just do it. A lot of times we research, we're trying to find information, and all that is just a pause on us actually acting. If you do something, whether it's go live and say, I'm about to start this, whether it's a post that says, coming Monday, I'm going to start this. That way you have some accountability of people that's going to be looking for you to do it. If you just get started, all of those worries and all of those thoughts will start to diminish over time. But if you never do anything, it's going to be in the back of your mind, and you're going to become angry, bitter, and not want to flock with people so that you can grow. So my biggest advice to you is, do not be paralyzed by information. Do not be paralyzed by your insecurities. Do not be paralyzed by what you see and hear from other people. Just close your eyes and press send or press post and get what you want to do out there. And then watch how the doors start to fly open for you, and all your people who are supposed to be aligned to what you're going to do are going to just start like being like magnets and coming in for you. I leave them with this. May your name be on the tongue of people that you don't even know. May your name be in rooms that you are not even eligible to enter. May your thoughts be pure and aligned to the vision that God has put in your heart. And watch and just receive all of the things that are going to come to you because you did something. And just start right there.
I love it. A master passionpreneur, from her herself, a walking testament of exactly what she just said. Thank you so much for pouring just your gems, your insight, for sharing all the moments that we have shared. And I'm looking forward for the moments that we will continue to share. So I absolutely love and adore you. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Building a Leadership Mindset podcast. Have a great day. And as I always say, make it count. Hi, everyone.